Welcome to the latest edition of ESPNcricinfo Weekly. And Howard, joined here by Dan Thomas. Dan, you're English, I'm Australian. We're both in the quarterfinals. That's one to me so far. Tell me why England can stay in this tournament.
Well, I don't know how we are where we are at the moment, to be honest. When you look at England's matches throughout the group stage, it's just absolutely phenomenal. I think everyone would agree that the tournament wouldn't be half as exciting as it has been if it wasn't for England. Goodness knows what sort of performances we can now expect in the quarterfinals, semi-finals, then, of course, the final, where you would hope, of course, I would hope as an Englishman, to see Andrew Strauss's side be. But let's face it, you could toss a coin, you could draw numbers. Who knows what sort of England side it is going to come out. In theory, on paper, Sri Lanka should beat us without any problems. But we've certainly shown over the last few weeks that literally anything can happen in this World Cup.
Yeah, and the good thing is your spinners are coming into the form
that's
at
true.
the right time. If you're making a case, you've got yourselves out of enormous trouble on a number of times on this roller coaster that England have been on.
Yeah.
And the spinners are in form. That's good.
No, it's very important. And when you look at it, Graham Swan is arguably the best spinner in the world. Obviously, as an Englishman, very important to have him. And you can just see here the fact that 18 wickets, average of 28, is a fantastic return in 50-over cricket. Look at poor power plays, only better than Canada. That sums it up pretty much, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like a lot of teams at the World Cup, though, this time around, batting's the problem. It's which batting lineup comes to the fore.
Yeah, but I think England maybe have been the opposite in the fact that we've batted quite well. It's been our concentration whilst fielding, which was so good when we beat you in the Ashes. It's just come around now, and you can just see the tiredness of what has been a really long tour.
Yeah, right. Let's talk about the Aussies. Another interesting
you're
matchup.
batting as well. You mentioned that. You look at the fact that the Ricky Ponting isn't particularly on form at the moment. White as well. Let's talk about him being dropped.
Ricky's got a top score of 36 in this World Cup and 6 digs. His average is 20 at this stage of the tournament, where his average historically is over 40. So you can see in the power plays, 7.26.
What does that mean? Is that good?
Not particularly good. Not particularly good, stacked up against the best. But the spin, you were saying that England has got 18 wickets, Australia's got 7. And it's not only their play in their spinners taking wickets or not taking wickets, it's the Australian batsmen not handling spin. And so Cameron White is another one who might not actually make the chop for this game and might get dropped, and maybe David Hussey comes into that because the play against spin has been so poor, and they're playing India.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the big problem. India, Sri Lanka, and I think South Africa, for me, are probably the 3 favourites for the tournament. Even beforehand, you look at the way in which they've been so impressive throughout the competition over the last month. And I think you really have got a big ask for Australia, especially, as you say, as not only you haven't been delivering spin particularly well, but you've been playing it so badly.
Yes, thank you. I like that, just hanging on those last couple of words. I might say the last time we played India was our 3rd World Cup victory back in 2003, was the final against India. That gives you some good vibes as an Australian fan. Maybe Ponting finds some of that form he did against India last time in Johannesburg, where he made 140 at it in a total of 359. So
clutching at straws, maybe,
I am clutching
Mr. Howard.
at straws, yes. And on that note, Dan, I thank you very much, as always.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to some more needling next time.
Okay, good stuff.
Cheers. Andy Bickle was a man who was on that stage back in 2003, played a really important part in Australia's victory overall, and including one particular match.
Well, I remember being at deep backward square and running to get the ball a fair bit, and knew that there was a fair bit of pressure on. England had pretty much had to win this game to stay in the tournament, because they had forfeited against Zimbabwe. And so there was a lot of pressure on there. And look, the Barmy Army were in full force, and they were letting me know about it. The fact that none for 66 or 10 overs, and Glenn McGrath and Brett Lee were going around the park, which can happen. And I was down at deep backward square, and there was a few Barmy Army there, and they were letting me know that it was going to continue. And got to the top of the mark, and sort of jumped up and down. And as I did, and felt that this is a great opportunity, and there's a little posse of Aussie supporters there at that end as well. So ran in, and ball came out pretty well, and I think we sort of come up with a plan to take the slip out and put him into a floater position. And look, I think you can look at many games we've tried that position over my career, and it always goes either side of the guy. But sure enough, it went straight to Damien Martin, and it sort of started off. I got a bit of momentum out of that. All of a sudden, that was 5 wickets, and I was feeling pretty good at the time, and it was surreal in the sense that you just felt that it was just my day, because no one else even look like getting a wicket, which is strange really when you go to Glenn McGrath and Brad Hogg had been bowling well, and also Brett Lee in the team. Ian Harvey was also churning some reasonable games out, and it just happened to be for some ungodknown reason Andy Bickle's perfect day. And my total focus when I first went out there was give Michael the strike. I didn't know Michael's focus was to give me the strike. So it was sort of, all of a sudden we started to turn the strike over pretty quickly, and you know, 3s and 4 runs and over. It started, a little partnership started to happen, and then not only that, I think it got to a point where they had used up some of their better bowlers trying to get Australia out and win the game. Nasser and he had to start to change the bowling changes, and the people that he brought on probably didn't bowl as well as he would have liked, and our partnership blossomed. I think we had a lucky couple of nicks. I think it might have went through the slips or whatever, or down through that vacant area, and gave me a 4, and Michael hit a couple of good shots, and then we started to hit boundaries with singles, and it really started to blossom, and then it got to about 30 out, I reckon, and we both sort of looked at each other, we can do this. And yeah, well, I remember the 6, obviously, you know, slow ball, and hit it in my zone, I suppose, over a mid-wicket, and then the next one was just actually a reasonable shot that I hit down the ground, and it managed to get past Andy Caddick. It's probably the shortest part of the ground as well, and it kept on bouncing away, and that was a pretty good feeling. I think the 6 was good, but hitting an on drive down the ground and getting it past the mid-on fielder was it was a real good feeling to know that we'd gone through that stage, and England were out of the tournament.
And that's all from this World Cup special of ESPNcricinfo Weekly. Keep up to date with the latest news, views, ball-by-ball coverage, features and more by logging onto the website.